Do you like comic books? Do you like all types of nerdy shit? Do you like hearing people discuss these topics? Do you like hearing one guy talk to himself for an hour about this kind of shit? Well, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Bat in the Hat podcast, hosted by me, Secret Identity Man. This is the intro to my podcast, innit?
What is happening, everybody? My name is Frank Castle, and you are listening to the Bat in the Hat podcast once again on, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, one of the three. But thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to do something a little different. I don't have any news for y'all. I'm kind of saving some Batman-related topics until next week. Tune in next week for sure. I'm going to have my buddy Matt on the show, and we are going to debate why I hate the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. Why I just think that they're garbage. And he's going to debate the counterpoint. If that's something you're interested in hearing, tune in next week. It's definitely what we're going to do. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This week, however, I wanted to tell you guys a story. I wanted to kind of interest you, hopefully, in a series, or multiple series, technically. And that is basically the tale of the cosmic Ghost Rider, beginning all the way back in Thanos Wins, moving on into his own miniseries. Just a little background, Cosmic Ghost Rider is a character who was just recently created by Donny Cates, who writes the current run of Venom. Excuse me, and we're never going to get through one of these podcasts without me coughing, because I don't edit. But he was written by Donny Cates, and just an awesome character. It's basically the Ghost Rider, who who the Ghost Rider is, who was given the cosmic powers of Galactus, as he was made a herald of Galactus, and he's just insanely powerful and badass. So what I kind of want to do to introduce you guys to this story, if you haven't been reading it already, is I kind of want to tell you two first tales. Not huge spoilers, but I'd like to do a run-through of the first issue of Thanos Wins, as well as the first issue of Cosmic Ghost Rider itself. Hopefully, my charismatic storytelling and heavy breathing from all the food that I have just recently consumed will be enough to make you guys want to go out and support your local comic book shop and buy it. Buy the trade paperbacks, because they're both available trade paperbacks. I also suggest there's a one-off issue, if your shop has it in stock, called Thanos Legacy, that I would read in between Thanos Wins and Cosmic Ghost Rider, just to give you a little fill-in of what's happening, or what happened at the time of the, the Infinity War comic book event. All right, so there we go, cough number 2. So let's go ahead and dive deep. We're going to jump right into Thanos Wins, and man, am I excited. Thanos is one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters. I think that as a villain, he has so much depth, and I think that Donny Cates did a really great job of portraying that. Do me a favor before we jump in. Go on Twitter, find me at BatHatOfficial, and if you're here in the Jacksonville area, please check out Mythical Mountain. Mythical Mountain, right on San Jose Boulevard. Great comic book shop, great people. I love them to death, and I love going there every single Wednesday to get my pull. But let's go in. So Thanos, as we enter the first issue of Thanos Wins, Thanos is widely accepted across the universe as being one of the few truly most powerful beings in existence, right? Scenes are kind of flashing from Galactus to Asgard to Black Bolt and to the Avengers, and showing you who truly is strong. And what I want to do is I want to read you just this first page of dialogue, because it's insane. It's really mood setting. So I just want to read you this first page. It says, "In the known universe, with all of its endless wonder and power, there exists a select few who are widely agreed upon by those who calculate such things to be the mightiest beings in all of existence. I am very sure you know who they are, and I think we do. However, there is something inside of these champions that you do not know, a secret truth that each of them carries in the darkest and most hidden parts of their soul. The fear, the certainty that they will lose. That someday, despite their strength and their courage, everyone and everything will die. And if you were to ask these gods, these avengers and destroyers, how they believe this marvelous universe of ours will arrive at that bloody and inevitable end, with a trembling voice and a heavy and honest heart, they would all tell you the exact same thing. Thanos wins. Dun, dun, dun. What a fucking page, man. What a great entry dialogue to giving us that just setting the mood. Again, kind of flashing between the Silver Surfer and all these powerful cosmic and non-cosmic entities who we know are just off the charts. And then still telling us that with these beings, these creatures, the one to end it all will be Thanos. That is, I love it. I love it, and I've read this 30 something times at this point, and I still love it. I still by the way, just flashing back to Mythical Mountain real quick, the guy's there, Tony, he's the one who turned it on to me. I told him I wanted more Marvel. When I was getting my kind of comic book collection back together, I was starting to collect actual books instead of just reading online and doing whatever. And he said, all right, well, if you look for more Marvel, there's this mini-series out called Cosmic Ghost Rider. And there were I keep saying episodes. There were 2 issues deep at the time. And he said, I would suggest getting the trade paperback. They had it there. And I trusted him. I took him at his word. And Thanos Legacy had also come out that same week. So I took everything that I could home, read it, and I'm seriously amazing. So we got that first page. Thanos wins, man. Really just sets the mood. So as you move on, you see that Thanos had just finished conquering Chitauri Prime, and you'll remember the Chitauri from the first Avengers movie, the bug-like alien creatures. That was the Chitauri. Not as much of a threat as maybe it seemed at the time, but especially I think if they were to face current Avengers, and their strength and their teamwork, they wouldn't be, it wouldn't be shit. But to Thanos especially, not really a thing. So as he's resting his boot on the head of the final soldier, he demands that they show him their king. Bring me your king, kind of thing. And the creature under his foot is like, but that's me, fam. Like, I'm the king. Can you get off my head? I'll prove it to you. And he was like, no, kings don't beg. And he crushes down on his skull. Love it. Brutal. Fucked up. Moving on. He wanted a champion. Thanos wanted somebody for him to face, to finally have some sort of challenge against. And I think that's all he's really looking for. Because if you guys don't know Thanos in the comic books, his ultimate goal is not to balance the universe like in the movies. That's a very cinematic goal and plot point, but it was not, it was not his goal in the books. In the books, he wanted to court Lady Death. He wanted to impress Lady Death and be with her, and the only way to do that was to murder everything. Just kill as much as possible in hopes of her, being like, you're the one. She is a trifling hoe, by the way. If you read the book, she is he arguably Thanos has given her everything, and she is just an arm's length. She has him on the hook for sure, and I'm sure most of you comic book nerds out there know what that feels like. It is it's a shitty situation for old Thanos, old Snaps over here. So Thanos crushes his head, and he's like, kings don't beg, and he really is just kind of depressed. He's sad that he doesn't have a champion for him to fight against. And the king, the former king now, his right-hand man comes up to him and, says, Lord Thanos. Thanos is sitting upon his new throne. He's looking out at his new army, and he's like, well, I have the glory of, I got this, but what, I just still want to fight somebody. And so the dude's like, hey, can you make your god stop killing us? And he's like, what do you mean, stupid? What god? Do you think I serve a god? Do you think Thanos has a god? And he goes, well, then who's killing all of us up there at alarming rates? And as he looks up, he is showered with a just rainfall of blood from the heavens as Cosmic Ghost Rider is whipping through hordes of the Chitauri, just massacring them. And Thanos smiles. He smiles because he's like, finally a challenge, finally something for me, because I'm bored. Because Thanos is a pimp. So enter Cosmic Ghost Rider, man. He's on his big space Harley, and he is just murdering everything. He's got his mystical chains wrapped around him, and he's got a flaming bubble dome. It just, you guys got to see it. Google just a good picture of Cosmic Ghost Rider, and you'll see what he looks like. And I don't want to. I'm trying to pick and choose what I want to spoil to you guys about him right now. There's nothing that they don't spoil right away, so we'll see as it unfolds. But so you know, Cosmic Ghost Rider at this point is from the future, and he is absolutely insane. Basically, Cosmic Ghost Rider is Frank Castle. You remember my name? Frank Castle. He is the Punisher. The Punisher was a soldier. He had his family murdered. He went through all this stuff, and he went to being the Punisher, and he's, 900 years later, we have comic books still being written about him, which are fantastic, by the way. But he died. At some point, the Punisher was killed. He went down to hell, and Mephisto was like, man, you're really made for this place, kid. You're really pissing me off because I don't want you around. And then he was like, well, why don't you just send me back up to Earth? He said, you know what? I'll send you back to Earth if you agree to be the spirit of vengeance. Go be the Ghost Rider. Go fucking kill everything. Do what you do. Just leave hell alone, because I'm getting annoyed. And he said, cool. So in the future, I don't know if it was Thanos. Somebody, basically, he kills everything. Every Avenger, every hero, at some point they fall. Whether it be to old age, whether it be to, just somebody coming and wiping planets out one at a time. Everybody's dead. Frank Castle, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, he ends up being the last being on the planet. Well, one day, good old Galactus, he pops up, and he's like, hey, I need the Avengers. And Frank Castle is like, hey, they've been gone for a long, long time. And he says, oh, well, do you want the powers of the cosmic powers of being my herald? And you can come help me kill Thanos? And he was like, yeah, that'd be dope. So he gave him the cosmic powers, made him into Cosmic Ghost Rider. And the power was so intense. The power of his cosmic herald, whatever you want to call it, the cosmic power to be, I swear to God, the cosmic power of being his herald mixed with Mephisto's hellish Ghost Rider abilities, it just warped him. So he's kind of Deadpool-esque now. I think not as severe. Just very funny, very dickish, very, like on the nose, and I think it's cool. So, anyways, that's a little background on Cosmic Ghost Rider. What he's doing there, on Chitauri Prime is he's looking for Thanos. So he drops down. He says, "Hey, big guy, I need you to come with me." And Thanos is like, "Fuck off!" And he hits him with some eye beams, which I didn't know he had. I guess Infinity Gauntlet stuff. So hits him with some eye beams real quick, and Cosmic Ghost Rider's like, it's not gonna work. I don't like that at all. Wraps him up in his hell chains, and he drags him. Thanos can't get out. It's kind of shocking to see just in an instant Thanos himself, this most powerful being in all of existence, being rendered helpless and being wrapped by these chains that he genuinely can't get out of. So Cosmic Ghost Rider's like, hey, don't worry about trying to get out. You see this? He holds out a piece of the time stone from the future. He says, we're going to go somewhere real quick. So here we go. And he straps him, he chains him up to the back of the Harley, dragging him into the sky and into the future. So he takes off. He opens a portal to the future, and it's Earth, It's Earth, but desolate. And they fly down to this, was it a mausoleum? He flies down to this mausoleum, and Thanos smashes onto the ground, sliding into this big throne. And as he looks up, kind of cussing and screaming, and bam, 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 he sees his future self sitting on the throne. King Thanos. Older, big-ass beard, looking like a G. By this time, Thanos has pretty much killed every champion, every hero, every power in the universe, and even has Galactus's head in the hall as a trophy. To see the rest of the story, I think that that's a good place for me to stop. I know that I'm not the best storyteller because I'm not comic historian, and I think it's boring for me to give you a count-by-count recount. That didn't make sense. I think it's boring for me to give you a super serious reading of Cosmic Ghost Rider, but I want you to think about a couple of things. Thanos ends up being the end-all be-all, you know? He ends up being the last of anything. And what this trade paperback of Thanos Wins does is it kind of runs you through his past. It kind of tells you a little bit about where he came from and his mother and how he was born on Titan, which is a moon of, I think, Neptune or Saturn. I think Titan is one of Saturn's moons. Regardless, you know, it gives you this insight into this creature that is so incredibly terrifying and so incredibly powerful. And Thanos truly is one of my favorite characters. And to see him wrapped up by this crazy, has no idea who he is, flaming Ghost Rider riding through space with a big Punisher skull on his chest, that's pretty nuts. And then we find King Thanos sitting on the throne. The basic synopsis of the rest of the story is, without spoiling anything, King Thanos has killed everything. And in his quest to court Lady Death, there's no more he can do. Yet Lady Death still stands at an arm's length, and he doesn't know why. Well, he realized that there was only one person left to die, and that was Thanos himself. So why did he go get young Thanos from the past? Well, he's not going to kill young Thanos. He has to die. King Thanos has to be the one to die. And the only person worthy of killing Thanos is Thanos. And by the way, if there's any other reason that you should pick up this trade paperback, King Thanos has the fucking Hulk on a leash and keeps him as a dog. The Hulk, who is, yes, immortal apparently, because this is so many years in the future. Now, the Hulk looks old, has long hair and stuff. Do you guys remember that weird thing about the Hulk becoming like this weird trailer? You know what? We're not going to worry about that. I can't say any more about this book. So we're going to move ahead. Pick it up, read it, because after you read that trade paperback, you got to get the trade paperback of Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is what we're going to talk about right now, the first issue, because really, as epic as that is, as epic as Thanos Wins is, we don't get as much of Cosmic Ghost Rider as we want. He's in it through and through the whole thing, but we don't get as much exposition. We don't get as much of a showcase of his abilities. We don't get as much just as you would want. And oh, by the way, Cosmic Ghost Rider is in the current run. They're only one issue out, but he's in the current run of Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's where that moved on, also written by Donny Cates. So he's taking this character, and we're going to see him in the main stream of this Marvel universe, which I love. I think it's going to be fantastic. So let's get into Cosmic Ghost Rider, the first issue. So at first, what it really does is it's introducing you, or not introducing you, but it's reiterating Frank's timeline, right? Talking about he was a soldier. His family died. He became the Punisher. He then also died. He became the Ghost Rider. Stuff I'd already talked about. How he became the regular Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Thanos' bitch, and then, spoilers, he's dead again. So, what I was talking about with Thanos Wins was that Cosmic Ghost Rider, what happens to him in his story, it's interesting, but it's so small and it's not really important to the Thanos Wins. But it left you with that sense of, oh man, I want more of that. But he died. He straight up got script. So luckily they made this 5-issue miniseries, and we got to pick up on that. So Cosmic Ghost Rider dies at the end of Thanos Wins, and Frank is taken to Valhalla. He finally gets the chance to rest. Naturally, he decides to start some shit, So what did he do? He sliced off a god's nose with a broken mead bottle. And Odin was like, "Why are you so unhappy here? What? You're like literally in heaven, bro." I think that's exactly what he said. Odin said, "You're literally in heaven, bro. WTF?" And Frank, he's pissed because he did so many awful things. And he led this life of fighting a war. And he never got the chance to rest. And now they're saying to rest in heaven. He was taken to Valhalla. He had already been to hell. He had been an angel once before. But he was taken to heaven. This is the ultimate. And his family's not with him. It doesn't change anything. He's still alone. He's still Frank Castle. He's just in Valhalla. So he's pretty upset about it. Fuck Odin. Odin was like, "Man, you've had this hell of a life, such a rough run, come to Valhalla." But, Frank is like, "Nah, fuck you." So Odin says, "All right, I'll give you your powers back. Take your powers and I'll send you back to Earth. There you go." And Frank was like, "Yeah, maybe not that." And then boom, he flipped the switch and he became Cosmic Ghost Rider again, going all nutty. So he said, "All right, Odin, send me back. I know where I want to go. Send me back in time. Send me here." And he sends him back to years, hundreds of years, to find baby Thanos, freshly born Thanos, lying in his crib. As Frank walks up, he pulls his gun and he aims it right at baby Thanos' face. And you could tell, I don't know if you know this about the Punisher, he has a code, kind of, but he also blurs those lines a lot. And I don't think baby Thanos is really in his book of, "I can't kill you." But before he gets the chance to pull that trigger, baby Thanos Spartan leaps out of his fucking crib and attacks Frank in the face, which is one of the most entertaining panels I've ever read in my life. He realizes, he grabs baby Thanos and tries to give him the Ghost Rider penance stare, and nothing happens. And he realizes, shit, this kid is actually innocent. Maybe, I want to kill him, but maybe I don't have to. Which is interesting, because I would have just fucking shot the kid. It's like that old question, would you, if you could go back in time, could you kill baby Hitler? Now, hear me. I'm not at all for shooting babies. But if you're telling me if we went back in time, and let's just keep using Thanos as the example. I'm more comfortable with that somehow. And you showed me a baby Thanos and we knew what was going to happen. Yeah, I'd shoot him. I'd shoot the fucking kid right in the face. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'd give him a quick yeet, and he'd be out of here. And I think that'd be an honorable way to avoid a future of misery. So regardless, Frank decides he can't do it. He says, "All right, well, I'm going to take this kid, and I'm going to see if I can change the timeline." He has innocence in his eyes now. The penance stare just showed us that. Tell me that I can't change him for the future. He doesn't need to turn into the monster that he becomes. But does he? So he hops on the Harley and they take off. And you just know a lot of shit's going to happen. And, honestly, I would keep going. That is the end of the first one. And it doesn't offer much except for that Frank Castle, the Punisher / Ghost Rider / Herald of Galactus, just went back in time and kidnapped baby Thanos to basically raise him as his own. Yeah, that's not a reason to go pick up these books, but just in case it's not, I understand. Hey, you have terrible taste, and I hate you, and we're not friends. However, I don't want to move on. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I don't really mind giving you the Thanos wins kind of rundown because there's a lot of reasons to read that, but there are so many amazing aspects of Cosmic Ghost Rider. I think you just need to pick it up for yourself. Hopefully my terrible storytelling has encouraged anybody to pick up these trade paperbacks. Go to your local comic book store. If you're in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm going to say it one more time because I say it a lot. Go to Mythical Mountain right here on San Jose Boulevard, right down the street from 295. So if you're coming from or to Orange Park, stop by. Why not? I think that they're definitely worth it. I want to real quick just talk about what we're doing next week. I don't remember if I already said it because I've only been talking for like 30 minutes or 25 minutes, and this is going to be a short podcast. However, next week, my buddy Matt's going to come on the show, and we're going to debate the Nolan movies. I hated them. I have a lot of things that I absolutely hate about them, and I have a lot of things about Christian Bale I don't like. As an actor, I love him. Let me just put that out there before we even get to the episode. The Prestige is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think that he is just a wonderful actor, a method actor who clearly has gone to lengths, and I can't wait to see I don't know what it's called, the Dick Cheney movie that he just not only put on weight but also put on a fat suit to play Dick Cheney. So I'm really excited, and I think he's great. I just hated those movies, and there's a lot of reasons. Now there's also a lot of reasons why I love them, and we're going to get into that next week. Matt is going to argue my point, and because he loves those movies, and it's really just supposed to be a fun debate. But I'm interested in what you guys think. I know that I'm in the minority for not liking those movies, and we talk about it at work all the time. I get a lot of flack for it. That being said, I think that me and Matt, really, which is why I want him on the show, we're the only two people who ever get into this debate who have like well thought out, I'm not trying to toot my own dick here, but well thought out reasons, and other than just, you're telling me that, I literally had someone say, you're telling me that if between Adam West and Michael Keaton and blah, blah, that's not the question here. I just hated them. So we're going to get into that next week. Picks of the week from this past Wednesday, comic book wise. Heroes in Crisis 5, everything is number 5. Heroes in Crisis 5 came out, which I'm not going to talk at all about because you need to fucking pick up every issue of Heroes in Crisis. It is amazing. Tom King is such a great writer, and not Mitch Gerrits. Who does it? Clayman. Clayman does the artwork for it, and man, it's just visually striking, and it's such interesting dialogue, and everything about it is just a Marvel Knights number 5 also came out, concluding this Marvel Knights mini story. And because that's a conclusion, I'm not going to talk about it. But man, how cool. You had a mini story where, just like homage to the old Marvel Knights stories, you had Daredevil and Elektra and the Hulk, but not really, because you saw more Banner than you saw the Hulk. The Punisher. You got to see Kingpin. You also got to see Doctor Doom. We were in the Baxter Building. There was just so many cool cameos, so many cool Black Panther, which was one of my favorite parts. I think my favorite part, other than Daredevil, who, by the way, I was never like a huge Daredevil person. Even after the shows, I thought the show was phenomenal. And I thought that even season 3, anybody who tells me season 3 wasn't gripping and fantastic all the way through, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But even after like the first season came out and it blew up on Netflix, I didn't really think that it was, I didn't really wasn't like, oh, I need to read every piece of Daredevil. I was just, whatever. Lately, maybe it's with the next one I'm about to talk about, Man Without Fear number 5, the conclusion to that mini story, kind of bridging the gap between the death of Daredevil and the new run of Daredevil. It's just everything about Matt Murdock is so interesting to me all of a sudden. And I think that other than Matt Murdock, T'Challa being in this Marvel Knights story was epic. Very fun, very cool. And man, we're coming right up to the half-hour mark. I love it because that's exactly where I wanted to end on. Since I have a minute left, I'm going to talk about the books to look out for next week. Umbrella Academy number 5, written by MCR's very own Gerard Way, who I love. I've read the first 4 issues, no fucking idea what's going on because I didn't read the last series, but this is the Umbrella Academy Hotel Oblivion book. No idea what's going on. I'm so confused, but now I'm going to read the old ones, and that's purely, I can admit it, purely because I love Gerard Way. Big MCR fan, big emo pop punk kid over here, boy. Batman number 64 is also coming out, and I think this is the issue that we're taking a break from the Nightmare stuff, which is good because I am confused as fuck in that as well. I have no idea what's going on. Well, I have every idea of what's going on because I read it like 9 times and I listened to an interview with Tom King because I'm not good at piecing things together. However, Tom King was able to clear some stuff up in his Listen to the podcast. There's another podcast. There's another podcast called Gotham by Geeks. And I hate to say this because I don't like to ever trash anybody. And I'm not the shit talking type. I'm not a huge fan of their podcast. And I think that's just because charismatically our personalities don't really line up. But they had Tom King on. He's a friend of, him and Tom King know each other from what they were talking about. They've been friends for a good while. And he had Tom King on again, who he's had on a couple times before. And to kind of clear up some of the Batman stuff. And he cleared it up in a way for me that I was like, oh man, that's cool. So I'm back on track. Keep reading Batman because I think it's still the number one selling book in DC Comics right now. Young Justice number 2 comes out, written by Brian Michael Bendis, and I am so excited because because issue 1 gave you so much to chew on and so much fun. It was just a fun, bright, colorful episode. And man, I really loved every bit of it. I'm super excited. Daredevil number 1, now continuing after Man Without Fear. This is now Daredevil's back, baby. He's back and he's ready to be blind some more. So we'll see what happens with that. Really excited to see if he finally gets to see some stuff for once. But all jokes aside, I'm really excited for this book. Also, back to Bendis real quick, just with the Young Justice, since he's writing the Young Justice series. I finally got to catch up to Superman, right? I just read the first 7 issues, and I fucking hate Superman. I always have. I always hated Superman. I love this book. Let me just suck on that dick for a minute, because I love this book. Brian Michael Bendis has the reputation he has from Marvel for a reason. I didn't know a whole lot about him. Luckily, again, the guys at Mythical Mountain, Tony and Sean, they were kind of giving me a backstory on how he saved Marvel and how his storylines have really been pinnacle. And a lot of stuff that I've read and I love that I never really paid attention to who wrote them, and I feel bad. But when I was a kid, I didn't care. I didn't care who wrote this stuff. I was just reading comics. But he wrote some of the coolest shit in the world, and now he's writing Superman for DC. And man, what a phenomenal all 7 issues. I loved every minute of it. You're getting a lot of his son, who is the current Superboy, John. I don't know. I'm interested in that too, where like the other Superboy, plural, is in this universe. But his son is the current Superboy. His biological father, Jor-El, is back. We got some Zod. We got this new character, this new supervillain who supposedly is the actual thing that destroyed Krypton, Rogol Zar. He is very Doomsday-esque, but also not as, like, you're reading it, and at first I think you're like, he kind of rewrote Doomsday. But as you're going through it, you don't feel as copyrighted, it feels very genuine. It's just awesome, man. It's really action nonstop through and through, busting shit apart. So I'm a big fan. I love it already. And we're past 30 minutes. So I have nothing else to say to you guys. I thank you so much. Seriously, I appreciate anybody, even 4 episodes in. I got like 30 people who listen to this podcast now, which is, that's cool. Tweet me, please. Tweet me at BatHatOfficial and let me know what you think. But I'm still really bad at doing outros, so subscribe to PewDiePie. Listen to the Misfits podcast if you guys like Swagger Souls and Fits and Zuckles and all those. Yeet! Big fan of them. And I also, I know what you're thinking. Why are you promoting all these other people? By the way, I'm just stretching this out to 35 minutes so I can feel even. So if you want to click off, feel free. But yeah, I like promoting things. I think that good things and other creators and stuff should definitely be promoted. I'm a fan of things, and that's why I have no problem shouting out Mythical Mountain 30 times in a 30-minute episode, because they're great, and great people, great artists, great creators. They should be acknowledged for sure. And I hope someday that you guys stick with me and I have that recognition where, we can make something happen with that, or have some kind of voice for that and help other creators and maybe put some people on. And who knows? All I know is that it is 2:00 in the morning and I have not posted this. I am not even done recording this yet, but I got through it. I got through it and it was awful, but man, am I charming. 5 seconds left. Appreciate you guys. You have a great rest of your week. Bye.